2022 was pretty much a bust. I don't want to say it was an utter failure, but guys, I had set out to accomplish so many goals. I had so many things I had written out a plan for that I was going to achieve, and honestly, I didn't achieve any of them. Actually, I take that back. There's one little goal that I did achieve, and I'll cover that in a second here. But guys, today we are going to talk about annual planning. I'm filming this in January of 2023, and I'm going to go through 3 steps with you and some other really helpful things that you can do, and I'm going to share the reasons why I did not meet my goals in 2022. Now, of course, you have goals this year as a guitar player, as a musician, or if you're a vocalist, you have goals. You have a certain level you want to achieve and you want to grow, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. It doesn't matter if you're just a hobbyist and this is something you do for fun and you don't really have any aspirations outside of that. You still want to get better. You still want to grow, okay? Or maybe you're a semi-professional. Maybe you're playing music part-time and making a little bit of side income with that. Or maybe you're a full-time musician like myself. Or if you want to take that leap to become a full-time musician, what we're about to go through is very powerful. Now, real quick, not only will this help you as a guitar player musician, it's also something you can apply to everything in your life, almost everything in your life, and I truly believe this is going to help all of us because we're doing this together right now. By the way, I have not written out my 2023 plan yet. We are doing that together, but before we get into that, I want to share 2 reasons why I feel like I did not meet my 2022 goals. Number 1, I had everything on a spreadsheet, okay? I had all my goals written out. I did this SWOT analysis. You guys might remember the video I put out in January 2022 last year on annual planning. I even have a blog post on that from last year, but everything was on a spreadsheet, very detailed. That's not the problem. The problem is I never saw that spreadsheet again. I never went in and looked at it. And this is something that I carried over from being in corporate America, which again, not a bad thing. You know, you document your processes, you lay everything out, you make the plan, the strategies, and hey, it's right there. But the other problem with that is, again, it wasn't in my face on a daily basis. The other reason is I never had a singular focus on each individual goal at one time. I found that I was constantly just making checklists. I use a notepad for things that I do each day, and this is a good strategy. We'll talk more about this in a second here, or in a minute. I always, when I get home from the gym, I always write down that morning what I'm going to do that day. But I found that I was writing a bunch of stuff, right? Because I was trying to meet this goal, that goal, that goal, that goal. And one of my prior bosses in the corporate world, I remember she used to always tell me when I'd get frustrated, she's like, Jason, don't try to boil the ocean, okay? You've heard me say this on prior videos. You've got to sit down and focus on one thing at a time. Okay, I'm working on this today. I'm going to accomplish this, or I'm going to make some progress towards this. So those are the 2 reasons. Now, how are we going to fix that? Well, first of all, we're going to erase 2022, just like this. Man, that felt good. So, here are 2 things, and we're not quite to the strategies. There's this really awesome strategy I want to share with you, okay? And we're going to do this together. But here's how we're going to rectify my 2022 failures. First of all, remember I said I kept everything in a spreadsheet, and I never saw it again. Now, you may be a spreadsheet kind of person. I like to document things. I'll still do that, right? But I need, and this is just for me, and it might help you too, I need a daily visual. So this year, yeah, I'll document these things in a spreadsheet, but I'm going to have my goals for the year probably on this whiteboard. I'll have it on the wall or somewhere, or if I don't use the whiteboard, I will have it on a piece of paper and I'll pin it in my studio somewhere because I come into my studio every day and I will see those goals every single day, okay? Now, number 2, what are we going to do next to rectify not meeting our 2022 goals? We've got the daily visual, so next is going to be this. It's going to be daily execution that what? That aligns with what I'm seeing in my daily visual, my goals, okay? We're going to talk more about this right here, more about execution. When I think of execution, I think of the cool Ride the Lightning cover. Okay, so that was the pun. More puns for 2023 as well. So this is how I'm going to change things. And with a daily execution, guys, I'm not gonna try to boil the ocean. Coming from the corporate background, and I'm sharing some of this just because it's relevant, right? Any job, and again, I had a very good experience in the corporate world. I met a lot of great people. I learned a lot of great things that I carried over into what I do now, and it kind of supports how I'm a full-time musician, how I'm able to do what I do for a living, which I'm very grateful for. Grateful to you as well for supporting me, okay? But one of the negative things that I carried over, the not so good things, was in the office environment, the corporate environment, really any job. You know, sometimes we can create busy work, right? Sometimes there's just a lot of tasks. We might say, hey, well, my daily task is this, that. I've got to accomplish all these things today. And then you can do all these things, right, and feel busy and feel like, wow, I did a lot today, but actually not do anything. In fact, how many times have you looked back on the day and it's like, man, I did all this stuff today, but then you look back and you're like, but I didn't really get anything accomplished. How many times has that happened, okay? So that happens probably in a lot of jobs, okay? So my daily execution, which again aligns with the daily visual that I'm going to see. I'm going to visually see that every single day. And as I write out the steps on a daily basis, right, it's only going to be a few things, okay? So in other words, I'm not going to have a bunch of busy work, not going to have a bunch of tasks. Now, there are some things that I know I'm going to do daily. I don't need to write those down, like vocal practice. I know I'm going to spend 20 to 30 minutes every single day going through vocal exercises. And on days I play live shows, I'll do more, right? I know every single day I'm going to pick up my guitar for at least 20, 30 minutes. And so I know I'm going to spend that hour. I don't need to write that down. That's just something that's kind of like eating and brushing my teeth. I know I'm going to do those things, okay? But how my checklist will look, or how my daily execution list will look, right? So today is, I'm posting this on January 4th, right? 2023. So I'll probably do this, maybe that. That's all I'm going to have, okay? This might be a YouTube video, okay? Probably 2, sometimes 3 days a week I work on YouTube. YouTube for me takes me quite a while. Like this video won't take me that long because it's just me talking, right? So I'll edit certain parts where I screw up and I'll post it for you. But think of the videos where I'm recording guitar and syncing the audio with video and going through lessons, and the videos I have where I give my Patreon supporters backing tracks and tabs. Well, that's extra time. So this here might take, 4 to 6 hours. So on those days, that might be all I do, right? That might be all that I write down. Now, I may get more stuff done, but I won't put it on the list because this is priority, right? This aligns with one of the goals that I have, which is to grow the channel, right? One of my goals last year was to have 100,000 subs. Well, I didn't make that in 2022. I think I ended with like 58,000. I'm grateful for all of you who subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. But I had higher aspirations for the channel. I didn't meet those goals, right? So I know these videos and then doing the research that I need to do, right, on the back end to reach that goal, well, that's priority for that day. If I get something else done, great, but I won't put it on the list, right? Now, other days I might be working on something else. I might be working on vocals for an upcoming album, right? I may decide to do 3 songs, okay? Give my voice a break after that. So that takes, 3-4 hours. Then I might do something else, right? Then I might do something else, and that's it. In other words, I'm not overloading myself with this big to-do list for the entire day. I'm not trying to boil the ocean. We're very micro-focused on certain things. Again, some days I'll just have one item, one execution point on there that, again, it aligns with what? the daily visual, the goals that I have, okay? By the way, the goals that I had last year, so one of those goals, I'll share this real quick before we get into the 2023 and the concepts that really I think will help us. One, I had planned to, again, hit the 100K mark with YouTube subscribers. I didn't meet that. I had a specific income goal. I didn't come anywhere close to that, okay? I had planned to release my album, Overcometh, or at least I'd planned to be done with it by now so I could release it, you know, now. Well, that didn't happen. I had a single I'd planned to release. I had another music project. I had several other goals, again, that I had written down. The only goal that I met was that I had told myself I needed to, on average, be playing 7 live shows. You guys know I play, part of the way I make my living is playing live solo acoustic shows, and I hit that goal. I think I wanted to average 7 last year, and I averaged, I believe, 9. So that last half of 2022 really started picking up. So I'm grateful for that. Let's get into 2023. There are three concepts here, okay, to make 2023 work for you and for me. And this, guys, this is the meat and potatoes. 2023, I'm going to call this the formula, okay? Let's give the formula some cool Metallica things here. Okay, the formula. Number 1, real simple, guys. We've been talking about this already, and I know a lot of you are doing it right now, but it's the planning. You have to plan, guys. There's an old saying that people don't plan to fail, but they do fail to plan. Thus, nothing happens in their life, right? You know, we can dream all day long, but if you don't make a plan, right? If you don't plan that, well, then it just remains a dream. It just remains a thought. You may say, well, you know, I want to play faster guitar solos, right? But if you don't make a plan on how you're going to achieve that, then 2 months from now, you're going to be still saying, well, man, I want to play faster guitar solos, but you're still kind of stuck where you're at. Same thing at your job. Same thing with your business, right? You can even apply this to your home life, okay? This can, again, these concepts can be applied across the board. So planning, we've got that down. And I think most of us are pretty good at that. We realize, okay, we got to make a plan, okay? I want to do this. Let's start writing out the steps we need to take to make that happen, okay? Number 2 is where a lot of people really just they don't get to this, okay? And this is something that I really had to push myself when I took the leap from the corporate world, getting a regular paycheck, to now, well, I don't get a paycheck anymore, guys. I've got to produce that somehow. So number 2 is very important for people like me, but again, you can apply this across the board, right? So you make the plan, but next, you've got to execute that plan, okay? A lot of people plan, a lot of people talk about things, and they might go as far as writing down some steps, right? And just drawing out the plan. But this execution, okay, executing that plan, and we kind of talked about that earlier, about our daily activities, our daily things that we're executing to meet those goals. Well, this is it right here, right? You're writing out the plan, you're executing. Now, the bridge, this is important, guys, the bridge between the planning and execution, it's like a 1.5. This is the how, okay? The how you're going to do that. You're planning, you're going to execute, but how? You need to write out those steps, guys. You need to write out the steps on how you're going to execute that, because if you don't have the how in there, then well, you don't know what to execute, okay? So that's very important. Planning, execute. Now, you can take these 2 alone. There's one more I want to cover here, okay? But you can take these 2 alone, and man, you just plan, execute, and you can make some progress. You can make some things happen. This next step is where you go to that next level, okay? And this is what that is. Plan, execute. Hopefully you guys can read my messy handwriting. Plan, execute, measure results. This is what takes you to the next level and beyond. This is how you keep growing. You can make the plan, write out your how-to steps, execute those steps, and you can make progress. However, if you don't measure the results, well, how do you know the execution's working, right? Sometimes it's simple, and I'll give you a simple analogy that you can use. So let's say you want to become a tighter metal rhythm player, okay? Because hey, metal, that the rhythms, that's the meat and potatoes of the music. Like you can have music without the guitar solos, but if you don't have those rhythms down, well, you need to be proficient at that. So you want to get better at that. What I would suggest you do is first get my course, Metal Riff Master. My shameless plug, links in the description. But no, you would do that, right? But you would also, what I recommend you doing is filming yourself playing some metal riffs, right? Film yourself playing some metal chops, okay? Follow your plan, your execution, which in this case is simple. Just set aside 15, 20 minutes, an hour if you have it, whatever time that you can feasibly schedule to practice on a daily basis, or at least a semi-daily basis, at least like, 4 or 5 times a week. Just stick to a consistent schedule, and then a month later, right, film yourself again. Compare those videos, okay? Here's where you were this month. Now, here's where you're at. What are the differences, okay? That's how you measure your results, okay? Then do it the next month, okay? And then go back and take some notes and be honest with yourself, like, okay, I've really achieved a greater level of success that first month, right? Or I'm getting kind of better, but I feel like I should be getting more results out of this. Well, then we need to go back to the planning and the how and the execution and just reassess these. See if we can make this part a little bit better. And it's just a constant cycle of growth for you. Now, apply this to your job, okay? You want to move up the chain. So you need a plan on how you're going to get to that next level. You want to get into management or whatever. And I'm not going to go too deep into this, guys, but you want to get to that next level of leadership, of income, whatever it is. You need to make a plan. What do you need to know, right? This is your how. What do you need to know to get there? Sometimes it's who do you need to know. And hey, that's just, if you're going to play the game, play the game. Know how to play it, right? So, but what do you need to know? Who do you need to know? What are some things that, some strategies that you need to give whoever you're trying to get that job from, right? You may need to implement a strategy to solve a problem, okay? So that's part of your planning, and then start executing that, right? Gain that knowledge, do the due diligence and research, okay? Then you measure those results. Did that work? Are you where you want to be 6 months down the road? Or are you at least getting there, okay? And then you know that you need to, this is working, or you need to reassess your planning and execution. So those are your 3 steps, guys. Planning, execute, measure your results. And there's a number 4 here. I'm going to write that out for you real quick. Man, this thing's loud, isn't it? Okay. And I want this to sink in, guys. I want you to take this stuff seriously, because I really feel like it'll help you, and it's helping me just being here with you doing this, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Plan, execute, measure results. What's number 4? Celebrate your wins, guys. Celebrate your wins, okay? Reward yourself for that. Be proud of that. And these can be small wins. This is kind of can be like a micro process here, okay? Maybe the ultimate goal is, let's see, is for me to finally get my album Overcometh done, right? Like everything's done for this album except for the lead guitar tracks, the vocals. I still have lyrics to write, so I better get to work. But, I can plan all that out. I don't have a lot to do for that, right? So I can make the plan, I can execute, measure results, and even when I get to that point where it's done, maybe the album's not done because it still needs to be mixed and mastered, right? But when I have all the tracks recorded, well, I can celebrate that win, okay? Now that doesn't mean I take a week off or anything crazy like that, but whatever the case, maybe I'll just kind of think on that and just kind of pat myself on the back for 2 minutes or whatever. It's like, hey, I'm just acknowledge that this is a milestone. Acknowledge the win, right? Maybe my wife and I, we go for crepes in Ybor City, this really cool place called the Creperia. So any little thing to celebrate that win, do that. That's going to motivate you to keep pressing forward, okay, and go to that next level, that next step. So real quick, I want to give you guys some updates on the channel and the goals that I have for this channel and for myself, and things you can expect. So yes, the Overcometh album, I'm going to be working on that this month really diligently. And alongside of that, remember I said don't boil the ocean. This might contradict what I said earlier, but it will make sense. So I'm also working on a lead guitar course. Now, album, course, why are you doing this at the same time? It's going to be sort of simultaneously. And the reason is because I'm planning to use the leads, or some of the leads on the album, since that's the phase I'm at right now in the album, for the lead guitar course. It's not just going to be about the album. The course will not just be the album, but I want to use some of those as examples. So I am going to be carrying that over. And on that note, when you're making these goals, guys, make sure, and I've got some more stuff to share with you real quick here, but make sure that this goal does not squash this goal over here, does not contradict this goal over here. So one of my other goals for this year is to get out of debt. And I didn't really intend to share this part with you, but we've accumulated some debt. Some of it's business debt, some of it's from car repairs. Both our cars just completely went out last year. Transmission, cylinders, all the stuff that happens at 100,000 miles in my wife's car, AC. So so we accumulated a little debt, but I want to get rid of all of that this year. And with that, I'm not going to be purchasing any music gear this year, because if I'm trying to get rid of debt, making a purchase, well, that doesn't make sense. That kind of clashes with that. So make sure that your goals, and I only give you that as an example, make sure that this goal here doesn't like pound this goal over here, because what you're going to find yourself doing is kind of like busy work. You're running real fast in place, exerting a lot of effort, but you're not going anywhere. You paid debt down, but then you bought this over here, right? So you get that. You get what I'm saying there. But make sure all the goals can align with one another, because it should kind of be like this own little world that just kind of works together, right? Your goals here. So moving forward, so the album, the lead guitar course, those things you can expect first quarter of 2023. And I've got a few other goals. Of course, I'm hoping to get some more gigs on the plate. I'd like to have 10 live acoustic shows a month. I'll also have some income goals, some specific income goals. I do want the channel to reach 100K subs this year. I'd like for that to happen by mid-year. And I'll divvy this up, guys. It'll probably be by quarter, okay? Lead guitar course album first quarter. We know we want that done. So what will I do? Well, I'll have that on my vision board here, if we want to call it a vision board. I'm going to rile this out. I'll see it every day. And then each day, right, when I start writing out my execution, what I'm going to do that day. And remember, we're not trying to boil the ocean, but I'm going to write down the steps, right, part of the plan, and what I'm going to execute that day. Or if I'm at the measuring results part of that, I'll be writing things out to measure the results, right? Assessing where I'm at. Those will go on my daily execution list here, right? And again, I'll see that vision every day, the daily goals, that will be visual to me every single day. So it's important not to lose sight of that. And now a couple other things that I have going on. There is another project I've been wanting to work on for a while. So I'm hoping to at least start that this year. I can't really talk too much about that now. That's coming later down the pipe. One thing I want to mention to you guys, I'm also considering, and if you guys want this, hey, let me know. I'm considering working on an acoustic rock course. Okay, this is something that I've kind of had on my heart and my mind over the past month, and I'm like, this would be cool if it's something they want. You guys, again, I play live acoustic shows, so I am working on, I've got a lot of music projects I'm working on, 3 different ones to be honest with you guys. And again, we're not trying to boil the ocean. I've got those 3 projects, a couple other, there will probably be a total of, between 5 and 7 goals on my overall big picture board here. One will be income, another will be YouTube, and then I'll have this album, this course, this album, and maybe this project. Again, I'm not trying to boil the ocean. I'm not going to fill this up with, 20, 30, 50 things, because I think I made that mistake last year, right? I had so many things I was working on. So when I went to write down my daily execution plan, I'm thinking, well, I got to do that, and that. And I'm behind on all of them. There have been times where, guys, I have sat in my studio, and let me know if this has ever happened to you. I've sat in my studio thinking, well, I need to work on this, that, and that. And I just get overwhelmed in the process, and I have fallen asleep. Like an old man in my studio here. And guys, I'm a healthy guy. I keep my health up, I don't think I'm lazy. I mean, I'm up at like between 4:30 and 6, depending on if I have a show the night before. And I go to the gym first thing in the morning, so I don't consider myself a lazy person. But I do find myself getting overwhelmed at times, and this happened to me last year. I was trying to boil the ocean. I know I've used that analogy several times, but I think it's warranted in this case when you're planning the year. I'm not saying don't plan a lot of stuff, guys. Some of you may want to plan. You may want to put a lot on your plate. Maybe you can handle that. I know me. I kind of have to micro focus on things, specific tasks, right, at a time. The whole term multitasking, the whole concept of multitasking, I personally believe that is the biggest lie that you can tell yourself. If I were back into the workforce and somebody said you had to multitask, no thanks, not for me. And in fact, if I'm buying a product from someone that's been multitasking while making that product, well, I don't want that product, because you never spent 100% focus on that product for me, right? Or that service. So multitasking out the window for me. And that's why I think it's important to know what your big goals are. I don't know that they need to be a lot, but maybe you have 2 or 3, maybe 5, okay? But what are your big must wins? There's another term we use in corporate America. What are the must wins, right? You have your must wins. These are the things you need to prioritize. And you might have some stuff below that if you want to write those down. They're like, okay, it'd be nice to have this and accomplish this, but these are my must wins. This is what I must accomplish this year. So I'm going to write that out on my vision board. Okay. In fact, real quick before we go, let's do this real quick. By the way, guys, these whiteboard sessions, I've done a few of these on the Metal Mastermind channel. You guys know my guitar courses are part of Metal Mastermind at metalmastermind.com. I co-own that platform with Ken Candelas, my close friend and business partner. We have a lot of courses. And see, that's another business. I'm running my business, and of course, Ken and I are running Metal Mastermind, which they sort of overlap from time to time with my courses, but not to confuse you, but we've got some things coming down the pipe for that platform as well. So more to come on that on the Metal Mastermind channel. But in any case, let's just write these out real quick. Okay, so 2013, 2023, man, see, I told you I'd get overwhelmed. Actually, 2013 was the year I released my very first album. So here, my most important, my first and foremost most important goal, and I like to prioritize these, is my album Overcometh. Okay, I've got to get that out. Second to that is my guitar course, my lead guitar course. Okay. And these are the things that I'm planning to accomplish, like right away. Like I'm hoping to finish these between January and February, have them both out by first quarter, right? But a big overall goal for me, I have a specific revenue number I want to get to. Remember when we talked about earlier, and we're going to wrap this up, guys. I know we've been hanging out for a while. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you like this sort of thing, if you like the whiteboard sessions, I've done some of these on Metal Mastermind. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hey, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Again, this is all to help you, to help all of us here. But remember, we talked about goals aligning with other goals. So these 2 goals here, my album, my lead guitar course, well, they coincide directly and will have a direct impact on my revenue for, for 2023. I want to increase this, right? So none of these goals will take away from that. If they did, well, I need to reassess, right? So that's one. I do want to grow my YouTube channel, guys. I want that plaque, right? Call me superficial, but I want that 100,000 sub plaque. I appreciate all of you being on my channel and watching, by the way, especially if you're still watching. Thank you. So those are some key goals here. I've thought about making an acoustic course at some point. This is not a must-win. These right here are must-wins. The album, the guitar course, the revenue, YouTube. Now I know you're probably saying, well, what's your must-wins? This is for, this quarter, this is ongoing. But what about the rest of the year? Well, I'll worry about that as it comes, okay? I'm going to do my best to get this accomplished first quarter. So I'm not going to focus so much on what happens after that. We're not promised tomorrow, right? Doesn't mean you shouldn't plan for it, right? I'm still going to have these other goals out there for the year, but this is priority first. And even though I plan to finish this and wrap this up by first quarter, I'm still going to be measuring the results of the album once it's out. I'm still going to be measuring the results of the guitar course once it's out, right? So these projects that I'll finish first quarter will actually be ongoing because I'll be marketing them. That's another part of my job, by the way. Sometimes I feel like I'm a full-time marketer more so than a musician. And that's something we can talk more about, in the future if you guys are up for that sort of thing. But this is really, even though I'll complete it and have it released, it's really going to be ongoing marketing this, right? And building it up, keeping that going, which again, the revenue and the YouTube channel, this is all ongoing, right? I say 1Q for these first quarter, but it's ongoing throughout the year, right? So those are the must-wins, okay? So the acoustic course, the acoustic rock course, I'm real excited about that. I've got an acoustic rock album that I've actually been writing, just like stuff's just been coming out. So, if it happens this year, awesome. I'd love for it to. But again, my must-wins are right here. This must be accomplished first. So, and there's one more project that I want to at least start. Okay, so these are all kind of prioritized. So anyway, that's pretty much my vision board for 2023. That's what I'll put it on the wall over here. I might rewrite it on a sheet of paper, and every day I'll see this. And when I start writing out my execution for that day, right, I need to make sure those align with this and it's not busy work. And again, guys, there are things that I do on a daily basis. Again, vocal exercises, because I sing 2 or 3 nights a week now. So I'm really wanting to become a better vocalist. I'm working really hard at that. I'm working harder at that than I'm working on guitar right now. And of course I want to keep my chops up as well. So those things are just daily. Those have turned into daily habits. I don't schedule them. I just do them, right? After I film this video, after I'm done, I'm going to go through vocal exercises before I eat dinner, which that's going to be real soon because I'm kind of hungry. But anyway, guys, I hope this video helped you. By the way, if you didn't catch my first live show, I filmed some parts of my first live acoustic show. If you didn't catch that video, go back and watch that. I just posted that the other day, so check that out. You'll see my first performance of 2023. And guys, thank you so much again for watching my videos, for all the support you've given this channel. Again, please give this a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out my guitar courses. There are links in the description of this video if you'd like to support what I do. And thank you once again, guys. Until the next video, which I'm going to put some metal guitar stuff very soon. You're going to have that soon. But until then, guys, keep it metal and keep playing music.